Hey y'all, so this is kind of the second part of my previous Monster High video. I'm just going to be rambling on about the drawing process and some Monster High opinions that no one asked for, I guess. Enjoy! So Lagoona was actually drawn right after I finished drawing Draculaura way back whenever I posted those videos. I didn't include her there since I wanted that video just to have the original trio, you know? So here she is with the rest of the gang. Drawing Lagoona was really fun, but also kinda tedious. Her expression though was the most fun to draw. Since she is a sea monster, I wanted to give her a very, fish-eyed, wide-eyed expression without making it look too weird. I'm not sure if I succeeded in making her look fish-like, but it was very enjoyable. But her hair though was a bitch to draw. You can catch me struggling to render and draw her curly, wavy hair. This is something that amazes me about the stock art style. I don't know how they render the hair, but it looks great. And I have no idea how to interpret it. Except for the bangs. I'm really proud of the bangs I drew. You can see me goofing up a bit here because I drew the hair and stuff flipped because I had my canvas reversed. So here's a tip for people drawing digitally. Check if your canvas is orientated correctly, because this has happened to me multiple times. As for the rest of Lagoona, it was tedious, like I said. She has a lot of layered parts. She has an open hoodie, shorts, and tights, I think. She also has gradient webbings and fins, and they are also kind of translucent, and everything is covered in fish scales, but also things are also sparkling. Oh my god, this girl has a lot going on. Now, circling back to the hoodie, I never owned a Monster High doll, so I don't know how her hoodie and hair works, but I'm assuming there's just a hole in the back of the hoodie where her hair can just spill out, because I don't think it makes any sense otherwise. Her artwork has most of her hair coming out in front of the hoodie, but if you look closely, there's also hair from the back and the hoodie's in the middle. So, and this is the same thing with her doll stalker image I found, where yeah, there's hair in the front, but there's also definitely hair coming from the back, you know? So, yeah. I'm just gonna say that I think Lagoona is probably my favorite of all the Monster High chibi drawings I've done. I don't know why. Maybe it's her crazed wide-eyed expression, her energetic pose, or despite the trouble and how many fucking things going on in her design, it was really fun to draw everything, which is kind of funny considering that Lagoona was probably my least favorite of the main characters. She just never felt like she had a solid personality to me. The main things I remember about her is that she's Australian, or whatever the fuck Australia is called in the Monster High world, in her fucking relationship with Gil. Listen, teaching kids about racism and prejudice is important. I watched the movies and the webisodes. I got it. I faced racism, but also it feels like her relationship with Gil, that's the only thing it revolves around, nothing else. And oh my god, I got really boring after however many episodes and movies there are. I get the feeling she's supposed to be very sporty and adventurous, but we never see that side of her. I mean, it's also been 10 years since I've seen her Gen 1 self in action, so I might have just completely forgotten the rest of her characterization. I also don't care for repetitive romance, so that did not endear me to Lagoona. By the way, since I'm just rambling on about dolls, my favorite design is probably Dawn of the Dead. A lot of it is due to the fucking amazing mohawk they gave her. Love it. Least favorite, 13 Wishes. Nasty yellow, oversaturated Lagoona. But she's done. If you haven't looked at the timestamps, I'll let you know that Cleo's section is double the length of the others. Between Lagoona and Cleo, there was 2 months where I just wasn't working on this project. It was other chibis and me trying to figure out my own art style and stuff. So I completely forgot how to draw in this style. You'll see me jumping back and forth between my previous files, trying to figure out things like proportion, stylization, and the 10 layer effects I put on. Hopefully this doesn't get too dizzy like eye straining. I don't know if I have much to say about Cleo. Her section's really long, so you might just be getting music later. Drawing wise, there isn't much to say. I struggled quite a bit with her hands, but Clip Studio has this like new feature where it scans her hand to copy the pose for a 3D model. It's really nice, it's really neat, but I wasn't satisfied with any of the hands that I drew or posed for, so I decided to stick with a simpler hand pose. I also realized I had to flip her canvas around, but this time was because I realized that her weird mummy sleeve arm was on the other hand, so I wanted that unobscured for the drawing. Despite having to like rediscover this art style, drawing her was pretty easy. It was nice having Cleo be the first character I drew coming back to this series. Her design's very simple. I mean, she has a lot of gems, but I just use a custom brush for that. Compared to Lagoona's multi-layered outfit, Cleo's outfit is literally the same wrapping all of her body. It's her one piece, and her weird sleeve thing, and also on her fucking shoes. Like, come on, can the richest bitch not get anything else other than the shit she was buried with? Ugh. Still, it was really fun trying to figure out how to render her bandages, since it's not all in one color. It's interesting to see how I stylized her wraps compared to how I did them the last time I drew them. Even a couple years helps you draw better. Who knew how drawing more helps you draw a little bit better each time. I do want to show the old versions of the chibis at some point, because they're kind of funny to look at. I'll let you know now that past Cleo could have eaten your soul with her 1,000-yard stare that I gave her. I was gonna talk about my opinions on Cleo's character, but honestly, I don't have much to say. Like, she's a fun character, and I like her bossy attitude sometimes, but honestly, that's about it. Despite my troubles with Lagoona's relationship with Gil, Cleo's relationship with Deuce was really nice. It never felt overplayed to me, and they just seemed really chill for the most part. They had one movie about their relationship, and child me was like, alright, cool, they finished the romance arc, can we please get back to the fashion now? So yeah, that's all my opinions. Okay, now moving on to the fashion side of Cleo, I don't know if I have a definitive favorite look for Cleo. This is a problem I think that bleeds into her like Gen 3 designs, which is like, what exactly is Cleo's theme, you know? Like, is Mummy the only thing Cleo has going for her? Like, it feels like a lot of her looks are just someone said, give her something gold, and cover her in stripes or bandages or wraps or whatever. At least her Gen 3 iteration goes all in on the Egyptian and Pharaoh iconography stuff, also with much bolder makeup. But if I had to pick one to be my favorite, probably Boo York, I guess. It's not like amazingly different, but her makeup and accessories are doing some heavy lifting. Ghoul's Rules is also nice, but I don't like mermaid dresses at all. My least favorite, I don't know, they all kind of look the same. It's not a full doll, but Mall Session looks really ugly to me. It's a fashion pack, but like, why? It's literally the same 3 printed designs on 3 things, and everything's just yellow. Ew. But I'll just let the music play to finish out this section. Cleo demands all your attention. Oh, poor Ghoulia. Kicked out of Gen 2 and not a core character in Gen 3. And I'm sorry, but I don't have much to say about Ghoulia. Posing her was both easy and hard. Ghoulia doesn't have as loud as a personality as the other characters, so doing a weird or wild pose would feel really out of character to me. The biggest influence for posing Ghoulia was her really arched back in her stock image. I think it's called a sway back posture. All the dolls have it, but it's mostly Ghoulia's stock art that like really plays with it. With the way I draw these chibis, I don't think it's as overtly pronounced as it is in the artwork, but I tried to mimic that. Her hand was also a pain in the ass to draw because I don't know how to draw a hand like that, but I think I got something. Just to tell you how boring I am when it comes to drawing and posing Ghoulia, she has almost the exact same pose as I gave her the last time I drew her, and by complete coincidence. I will say though, I much prefer the way I drew Ghoulia that time than now. I feel like I really goofed up on the bangs. I very much just mimicked how it was in the stock art, and to me, in my art style, I think it just looks really awkward, but I guess I'm just sticking with it. As for Ghoulia's character, I don't have much to say. Like, I love her character. I really related to her as a kid. Like, we both spoke different languages than the people around me. I also didn't like talking or interacting with new people. Very much a wallflower, and I was also really into my nerd shit. But I also have to tell you, I was a really fucking boring kid who did not express themselves very much. So as a character, Ghoulia is like extremely relatable, but not very memorable. As for her design, I've always really liked her like basic or standard design. Something about the cherry print, the poofy red pants, high knee boots. Perfect. I love them all. For the longest time, my mind really associated Ghoulia with like 1950s and 60s American fashion, but I don't know why. Now that I think about it and really look it up, it's probably because a lot of Ghoulia's outfit have this rockabilly aesthetic to them. I don't know if y'all see it. It's usually present when she's like in a skirt or in a dress that really shows, and I also think the glasses also really push the look too. Despite this, I'm not a huge fan of most of her outfits. That isn't to say that they're bad outfits, it's just like this whole rockabilly aesthetic isn't something I'm really gravitated towards. Sweet Screams is probably my favorite look, but it's also like not a very Ghoulia look to me. I just really like the theme and how bonkers it is with like gummy everything. That being said, Ghoulia, as of recording, just got a new look. Ghoulia. Oh my god, she looks so fucking good. She has a bone headpiece, rib cage corset, over knee boots. Oh my god, it's everything I love. I try to keep the premium dolls out of this, but Ghoulia's is so fucking good, y'all. Least favorite, either the school clubs or roller skates one. Both are pretty boring. I will give the roller skates 1 point for giving Ghoulia a brain helmet though. Still doesn't save it. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so several places online don't consider Abbey as a part of the main characters, maybe because she wasn't part of the original launch, you know? But I don't fucking care. I love her design, I love her personality, I love everything about Abbey. She is a main character to me and in my heart, so I'm including her here. Her speed paint is marginally the shortest, which isn't too surprising considering that I've done like 2 more of these, so I've familiarized myself again with this art style. But also, if you take a good look at her design, she's not too complicated. Most of her intricacies are just furs in her sweater dress. Her pose was nothing special, but I really liked the expression I gave Abbey. All the other characters I drew look kind of posed up for like a picture day or something, but Abbey looks kind of confused and unimpressed with the whole thing. Funny enough, there is a picture day Abbey in the artwork for the doll or whatever. Makes her look really awkward. It's really cute. In coloring wise, there isn't much to say. Again, most of her design is just white fur. I had thought about giving her a softer fur pattern look, but I decided to go with like, you know, the sharper triangular ones, which I thought matched well with everything else around her. It did take a while to line art everything, but after that, it was mostly smooth sailing. Her sweater dress pattern is this like triangle pattern that I downloaded, and then I gradient mapped the colors to her original outfit. My character setting doesn't show you that part, so in case y'all are curious. The most complicated part about Abbey's design was probably her multicolored hair, which is doing some heavy lifting to bring more complexity into her design. In her stock art, Abbey has these different strand types, which I decided to interpret as braids. She has a Russian accent in the show, but she's also supposed to be from the Himalayas. I would think these braids are kind of like Tibetan braids, but you know, not completely. It's not like her hair is like completely braided or specifically in 108 braids. On the doll, I think they're just tinsel to make Abbey's hair look shiny. In the show, Abbey was one of my favorite characters. I love her steadfast and blunt nature. I will say her funny foreigner shtick would get kind of old after a bit, but I think she has a strong enough personality to carry. To be honest, despite remembering like really loving her, I don't remember Abbey doing anything in the show. To be fair, the Monster High cast is like pretty stacked, so sometimes their characters are just there to be an outfit model and not to do anything. Like, I think she has a plot line in 13 Wishes, but I don't even remember her even like being there in Great Scary Reef. Abbey knew how bad that movie was, so she immediately skedaddled. As for movies, I really love her sweet screams look. I feel like Abbey is often stuck in these cool pastel colors along with black, so it's really nice seeing colors you don't normally see on her. I also want to mention that I think her 13 Wishes outfit is really pretty and really beautiful, but there's always been this question of Orientalism in that doll line, so meh. The worst is either the roller skates one, again, or Coffin Bean. They're both really boring to me, but hey, not every look can be amazing. Sometimes you need more meat for the grinder. With that being said, we're done with Abbey's speed paint. So all the speed paints are done, and I want to say, if you sat through everything, thanks. I want to do more with these speed paints, but I'm not sure if I want to do these more full-length ones. I just don't have much to say. You can kind of hear me struggling to put anything together. Maybe if I can make the drawings faster and without, you know, the zoom in, zoom outs, the way that I draw, I might do another one. I also want to try to turn some of these into shorts, but I need to figure out how to do that. If you sat through everything, tell me what's your favorite and least favorite doll outfits of each one. Alright, see y'all whenever I get my next video out.